Indeed, love is possible in the most unusual places, but the lovebirds, suffice it to say, have a lot to be thankful for. Moving on now, the Gombe State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency seized 461 kilograms of Indian hemp and 881 kilograms of psychotropic drugs in the first 10 months of 2017. Again, in February 2017, the Senate raised an alarm over the increasing rate of drug abuse in the country, especially among youths. In this special report, TVC's Lanre Adeyemi looks at the menace of drug abuse and addiction in Nigeria, its causes, and the role of stakeholders in tackling this challenge.
The cry of a mother, an abandoned child, a mentally ill woman, a broken home, and a gang of criminals. One thing all these often have in common is illicit use of drugs. 26-year-old Yakubu Ibrahim is a discharged Air Force personnel. He is struggling to break his addiction to pain relievers and psychotropic drugs. Yakubu is just one of millions of young Nigerians, particularly in the northern region, struggling with substance abuse and addiction. In Kano and Jigawa states alone, government records indicate that about 3 million bottles of codeine are consumed every day. Some other popular drugs are Indian M, Tramadol, Rafinol, D5, and the local concoction called Suck and Die. These drugs are more popular in schools than textbooks and certainly in higher demand. Some influencers and leaders have come to acknowledge the problem of drug abuse as a silent epidemic,
which has made the rising terrible incident of drug abuse within our women, especially even married women in our country. Can we also have legislation and orders to everybody that you cannot just go into any chemist and buy any drug without prescription? Can we do that and enforce it?
The Northern Governor's Wife Forum is currently tackling the issue of drug addiction and drug abuse as one of its intervention priorities out of the realization that the menace of drug abuse has eaten deep into our society.
The United States of America has been battling drug abuse for over 30 years. Experts warn that if the Nigerian government and other stakeholders do not act now, drug abuse may become a monster that will tear at the very fabric of our society. A problem that could be potentially more harmful to the society than tuberculosis and HIV.
Using drugs from the very young age of 14, 15, and sometimes they start from primary school or secondary school. In Gombe, for example, or from our record of arrest and seizure, we find that 54% of this age group are very, very young people. And they start, you can imagine, when they start from primary school or even secondary school, before they reach the age of 40, they have become an addict.
It's not a thing that should be looked as maybe something very small, especially the population of people that drug abuse, the prevalence is high on. I'm talking about adolescents, for instance. These are a very large chunk of our population, for which, if we're not careful, will only be breeding ground for increased crime rates and all sorts of vices.
The NDLEA also explains the agency's efforts in fighting this rising epidemic, highlighting some successes it has recorded.
NDLEA is putting human resources. A lot of our officers have been killed in the process of making sure that drug is not being trafficked either from the south or to the north. And a lot of times we have been mobbed, like in Gombe State here. We have been mobbed in about 5 or 6 places in this just 1 year. It's only God that saved us that we have not lost an officer.
The only drug addiction rehabilitation center in the northeast is this rundown building in Gombe State. Without electricity or furniture, this center has never received funding from either the federal or any of the state governments. Yakubu is the only recovering addict in this facility. He sleeps on this small mattress in this empty room. Although he has not completed his treatment program, he would have to leave soon. Addicts and relatives who seek help are just cancelled and turned away. There is very little the staff can do without crucial equipment and resources. Yakubu explains to me that his journey to recovery has been difficult.
I have your money before. Then I go to the medicine store. I bought it. It is not a too much cost. I bought it. At least I think the Mizagrip is 70 naira. And the Opteldon sachet is 100 naira. If I meet with somebody who taking the drugs, that's not good. I advise him it's not good for you to take the drugs.
Every passing day, more young people are abusing and getting addicted to drugs. It is crucial that influencers, leaders, and all levels of government awaken to this growing crisis and effectively tackle it. The very future of the Nigerian society is at stake. Larry Adiemi, TVC News, Gombe.
Sadly, so many dreams are locked away or dead with capsules and liquids and illicit powders. Let's hope that they do not die. That's how it's been on TVC News Hour. This edition that featured the Sunday specials. Of course, we urge you to make our website your preferred option of staying informed. Visit regularly at tvcnews.tv. You can also drop your thoughts always at TVC News NG. I am Bukola Samio Wemimo. Good night.